Well, hello and welcome to the Edgewood 4G podcast. My name is Kyle Parks and I'm the discipleship pastor here at Edgewood. And here at the church, we follow the 4Gs to gather, grow, give, and go with the gospel. So it's my privilege to be here today. And as you can see, I am all alone. Unfortunately, I'm used to having someone with me to interview or talk to. I guess I'm not all alone. Dave and Will are here. Can you guys say hello? Yeah. They're back there. So, but thanks for tuning in, whether you are just listening or you're viewing this on the web or on social media. We appreciate you tuning in. What I wanted to do today is actually just kind of talk about what God's doing here at Edgewood, what's been going on lately, talk about some different ministries, and just hit some highlights. And so I'll talk more about my ministries that I'm involved with, but hopefully also get to some of the other ministries as well. But did you know this past weekend at Edgewood, we had 1,000 people? I mean, that is incredible. The church is growing. And so not just numerically, but obviously people are growing spiritually, their walk with Christ. People are going to next steps. They're getting baptized. They are taking those next steps in their walk with Jesus. And it's just been incredible to see, to come alongside people, see others discipling one another, and just seeing people go out and just spread the good news of the gospel. So many people are signing up for missions trips. I mean, there's a lot of growth in many areas, and so it's great to be a part of. So we want to talk about that, but before we get into that, I did want to just share my experience from a week or so ago, the solar eclipse. So if you were here in the Quad City area, you probably saw 95% at the most totality, and it's a completely different experience with the full totality, 100%. It's really day and night difference. So I took my two oldest boys and we drove down to Muncie, Indiana. So about a 5-hour trip, and have some cousins there, aunt and uncles. And so we made that trip Monday morning. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of people headed to that area. I was hoping and praying the whole time that there would be good weather, there wouldn't be cloud cover, and so I was a little nervous about that. But once we got there, it was wonderful. It was great. We went to a house with a bunch of people there viewing, and so we had the glasses we were watching and looking through. But you were not able to really look up though until it actually happened. And my goodness, just to see the creation, the design, and the universe that God has created was just it was incredible. And so I was there, and even though I want to try to be in the moment and just be there and to look at it, enjoy it with my kids, I'm also a creative, and so I had my photography stuff, my video stuff, and so I'm snapping pictures the whole time and looking up. But literally, I mean, it looked like it was a really cloudy day to when the complete totality took place. I mean, it was like nighttime. It was dark. It was like at the very end of sunset, kind of that twilight time. You could see stars out. You could look up at the moon and see the sun behind it. I mean, with your naked eye, you could see the sun flares, the red sun flares coming out. And it was just amazing. It was incredible. I'm so glad that I did it. I got to witness it and bring my boys along as well. And I hear there's going to be another one here in the United States in 2045. So you got about 20 years to go, but I would highly recommend it. But when I was just thinking about that and seeing that, it just reminded me of the design of the universe. We have an intelligent designer, God, who created it, and he created it with meaning, with purpose, but also with beauty. And so that was just really cool to see. But here's the thing about eclipses, and I've taught on this before in apologetic stuff, dealing with design and the fine-tuning of the universe. But for these eclipses to happen, the sun and the moon must appear almost precisely the same size in the sky. So get this, the sun's diameter is roughly 400 times that of the moon's. So in order for them to look the same size from the earth, the distance from earth to the sun must be about 400 times the distance from earth to the moon. Got that? So if you divide the 93 million miles, so that's the earth to the sun, by 238,857, that's the earth to the moon, you get 389, which is very close to 400. And so that's how they appear about the same size in the sky and completely covered up. So that just shows the design in the universe. We have an intelligent designer, and he created it this way for us to live here and to thrive, but also to witness his creation and see the beauty. But so you see those things in the world and creation, but then also our Christian faith. When you really think about it, everything in our Christian faith hinges on one thing. And I was listening to a sermon podcast just this morning about it. Everything hinges on the resurrection of Jesus. I mean, some people, they debate the teachings of Christian faith, and is it true, is it not, all those types of things. But really it all comes down to, did Jesus rise from the dead or not? Everything hinges on the resurrection. And there's so much evidence to show that he did rise from the dead, and to show that this was a historical event, historical fact that took place. It changed the lives of the early believers. They went and spread that good news of the gospel of the risen Jesus to the ends of the earth. They were willing to die for that faith. They didn't make that up. That no one would die for a lie in that sense. And so it was just amazing to see these different apologetic points that we have, from designing the universe to the resurrection of Jesus Christ and everything in between. And so sometimes people ask those big philosophical or apologetics type questions. But really, in this day and age, the biggest things we're seeing, especially the younger generations, Gen Z, millennials, they're asking questions about who am I? Identity. That's the big question of today. And there's a good answer for that too. Everybody who has been created by God has been made in his image. And that's ultimately who we are. That is our true identity. We're people formed in the image of God. And I'm excited to share that, we have everything solidified now for our fall conference. And Pastor Chris is really working hard on this. But it's not just for student ministry or young adults ministry. It's for everybody, because this affects everyone. So this conference with Christopher Yuan is going to be on holy sexuality, October 5th and 6th this fall. And you're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be incredible. But it's all going to be about identity and who God has made us to be. Talk about sexuality, talk about gender, talk about issues of our day. So that's going to be a huge one that you're going to want to be a part of for sure. Now, I want to share some more things that are going on at Edgewood. I'm going to start with the ministries that I'm involved with. And so a big one is our young adults ministry, Mainspring, our college and 20s ministry. And so I've been a part of this for quite a while now, and it's an amazing ministry. And we get to serve not only the young adults at Edgewood, but really we have people that come from different churches, from different college campus ministries, and that are part of it, where they might not have this type of ministry at their church or at their school. And so I'm so glad that we get to help them grow in their faith and find community as well. But I'd say probably about 50% of the Mainspring group is from Edgewood, but the other 50% is not associated with Edgewood other than at Mainspring. But I'm great with that, and I'm glad we're able to serve them in that way. But I want to share, I've been challenging the last few weeks on this to take some time off of their devices, off of their phones, and fast from their devices, fast from social media. And then spend that time they would be on those things, and spend that time that they have now, that extra time, with more time with God, with more time in Christian community, more time being creative. And so we just started that this week. And why is this such a big deal? Okay, well, this is a huge deal because the younger generations, it's said on average, are now spending 4 hours a day, some of them 8 hours a day on social media and their devices. I even polled the group how much time people spend on their devices, check that screen time on their phone, and some of them said 6, 8, 10 hours just that day that they had been on their devices. And a lot of the time, they're not doing it for school or talking on the phone. I mean, they're just, let's be honest, mindlessly scrolling, looking at videos, looking at pictures, that type of stuff. Things that might be fun and creative for a while, but in the end, we're just kind of wasting time, and we can spend that time doing more productive things perhaps. So that's what we challenge them on. We're doing a 40-day fast. And what we mean by that is not completely getting rid of our phones, but getting rid of the apps that waste time, the games that waste time, getting rid of the things where we're just kind of mindlessly scrolling or we're just looking at for mere entertainment. But instead, filling that time that would be on our devices with more time with God, more time in the Word, more time in prayer, more time in Christian community, and more time being creative. And so I challenged them on that. I told them I wouldn't ask them to do anything that I'm not willing to do. So I've been doing that as well. Got rid of some of the apps on my phone. turning off our phones, my wife and I, from 5 to 7 each day so we can make sure we're focused on the kids during dinner and before they get ready for bed. Finding ways to be more creative with my kids. Again, I love photography. I love video. We can spend more time doing that kind of stuff together. But then just reading more. I'm reading more. I'm listening to more podcasts. I'm doing more podcasts. So those types of things are really good and really helpful. So ask some of our young adults at Edgewood how it's going so far. We're going to have some of them share at Mainspring Sunday night about the experience, what they're learning, how they're growing through that. But yeah, it's really cool. But then also with our young adults ministry, this Friday night, we're doing something called Secret Church. Secret Church is something we've been doing here for a while. It's a live simulcast event that we're going to be viewing in our Student Center. And this is something that has been going on through the ministry of Radical and David Platt for a while. But basically, there will be 6 hours of teaching. Get that, 6 hours, 6 p.m. to midnight on a specific topic or book of the Bible. Last year they did Jonah. This year they're doing the book of Ruth. And so for 6 hours, we're going to be looking at the book of Ruth, all 4 chapters, verse by verse, almost word by word, digging in deep and seeing what God has for us there. And the whole point of Secret Church is to really honor the persecuted church around the world because in some of these places, they don't have the opportunity to study God's word. Sometimes they have to study God's word in secret. And they might only be able to do that once or a couple times throughout the year. And so they go and meet together with a pastor, a leader, and they study as much of the word as they can. And they fill up their minds or hearts with much as that that they can so that they can go and teach that to other people. But a lot of times, again, they do that in secret. But in that course of that period of time, they've studied a lot. So we're going to do 6 hours of that on Friday night. And any of you are welcome to come as well. We got journals for the first 25 people to come. It's mostly for youth and young adults, but hey, if you want to come too and see and learn more about that, please do. I'm also over the discipleship ministry at Edgewood, and so it's a joy to be able to disciple others, but to also create opportunities for others to disciple. And so we do that through our intentional discipleship program here. We have a study that we do, Growing in Christ, a navigator study, that we get older believers and younger believers meeting together. And they go over this study together, get to know each other, and just kind of do life together. But they learn and grow together. And so we're getting more and more people involved in that ministry, and that's just great to see. And then also our growth groups, which take place all throughout the week. Sunday mornings, we have several, 8, 9, 10:45. We have some Sunday night. We have some during the week in people's homes. We have a men's group Wednesday nights, another men's groups Thursday morning, Thursday nights. We have growth groups all throughout the week. So if this is something you're interested in, please get in touch with me. Go to the website. But growth groups, you guys can hit the tab there and find more ways to get involved. Our men's ministry that I also oversee has grown tremendously. We have 4 gatherings a week. So again, Sunday mornings 9. Wednesday night, I lead a study. We just got done with the book of Philippians, and that was just really great to be a part of and hear the wisdom and insight from those guys, but discuss together. And then we have that Thursday morning and Thursday night group as well. And the Thursday night group, they're getting ready to start back with another study of the Better Man, which is the essentials to biblical manhood. And Nino Saldivar, he leads this study. And so this will kick back off on Thursday, April 25th, so a week from Thursday at 6 p.m. in the Student Center. But if you want to get involved with any of our men's ministry stuff, the best way to do that is to go to the mobile app. We're working on getting all of this stuff on our website, making sure everything's out there, but the app is the best way to go for that at this time. I'm also overseeing missions right now while Pastor Dan is out. And so we're very excited about our 3 missions trips that we have coming up this summer. The first one, Camp Forest Springs, will be actually May 3rd through the 5th. That one's full. We have a group going up, but we have about 10 people headed there, going up in a van to Westboro, Wisconsin. They're going to be cleaning up there at Camp Forest Springs and just being an encouragement to them there because we've been sending students there for years, family camp, retreats, all kinds of different things. And so that's coming up. And then our Belize team, our largest team, will be early July. We're going to be headed down to Belize and Corozal, right there on the ocean. Beautiful town there where I've been doing ministry for many years. But we have 32 people going on that. We have students. We have older believers going as well. We're going to have a VBS that we're putting on, where we'll actually do the same VBS here at Edgewood, and then we'll have a work project going on for some of the adults to be involved with as well. And then we have a group going to El Monte, Mexico at the end of July, where they're going to be helping out at the camp there. There's some missionaries that we support. And just looking forward to them being involved with that as well. We have 14 people, I believe, on that trip, and they're going to be encouraging to that group, doing stuff with kids ministry, doing stuff with the work project also. And then speaking of missions, the Langworthys, they're a family here in the church. They are raising support to go to Uganda, Africa, full-time. Hopefully later this year or next year. They would love for that to become a reality. But they are doing a support dinner on Sunday, April 28th in the gym at 6:30 p.m. Anybody's welcome to come to that. They just want you to register. So we're going to try to get that registration page set up on the Facebook page of Edgewood's Facebook page so that you can sign up and let them know how many people are coming. So they want to have some idea, but they want to give an update about what God's doing there. Aaron recently returned from a trip there, so he has pictures, he has video, but they also want you to experience a little bit of the culture. So I think it'll be a great time together. Again, that's April 28th at 6:30 p.m. that Sunday night in the gym. We have lots of other ministries here at Edgewood, lots of great things happening, so we'll kind of run through these as well. But our children's ministry, our kids' ministry here is amazing. Sheila's done an amazing job. And our Awana Awards Night, that's coming up, not this Wednesday or today, but next week. And so that will be just congratulating and celebrating all the hard work that these kids have put in memorizing verses and going through the Awana books. There will be Whiteys that night, so make sure you show up as these kids get their awards. And then also our VBS this summer, Super Summer Slam VBS, will be July 18th through July 20th. And again, this is the same one that we're going to be doing down in Belize, and then we'll be doing it here for our kids as well. And so the same people in the dramas and the skits will be doing it here as well. So I just love how we're able to do that, to serve in two different cultural contexts. And it's just great to see how God's growing that ministry and how many kids that we're affecting and their lives, spiritually speaking. There also is going to be a child dedication coming up May 11th and 12th, that Mother's Day weekend. And so if this is something you're interested in and having your child dedicated to the Lord in front of the church body, you can inquire about that on our website. All of these things, if you want to learn more, really the best place to go is to our website, edgewoodbaptist.net. So make sure you do that, especially if you're interested in child dedication. Our student ministry, I had the privilege of leading student ministry here for about 6 years. Pastor Chris is doing a great job there. They just got back from their junior high retreat, where their theme was just do something, and it's all about following God's will. But obviously, he wants us to act. He wants us to step out in faith and do something with it. It was really cool to see Chris had set up a prayer chain where you could sign up for different times, morning, noon, and night, throughout the night to pray for these students while they're at their retreat camp. And many people signed up and prayed through the night. I think over 65, 70 people signed up. And it was just cool to see even people midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning praying for these students, even as they slept. So that was just really encouraging to see. Our people love to pray. And we're going to be doing more and more things like that, I believe. Youth Weekend is coming up May 4th and 5th. We've been doing this for years, where student band leads. They help out with the announcements. They're going to be serving all over the church. Pastor Chris will preach the word. And then we'll also be honoring the graduating seniors that weekend as well. So that's coming up here in just a few weeks. Our women's ministry that Sheila leads, they just had a group that went to Women's ISI, Iron Sharpens Iron, and they had 45 women in attendance, and so that was the most of any church. It was similar to when the men went to the Men's ISI a month ago. We had, I think, 60 guys or so, the most of any church in the area. So that was just really encouraging to see our men's and women's ministry is just growing here. People want to be involved, and they're really looking to connect in that way. The Women's Ministries also has a spring luncheon coming up on May 4th. You can sign up for that on the app and on the website as well. Second Winders is the ministry that Pastor Ed leads, and he does an amazing job there, and they just love him to death. But if you don't know about this, there's a luncheon the second and fourth Thursdays of each and every month, and that has just continued to grow as well. I mean, the last few, they've had almost 200 people at these, and it's a great way to connect. There's always music, a speaker, and some entertainment stuff going on, but it's a great way to connect with other people. And then, of course, our Celebrate Recovery ministry, and this is Friday nights for those dealing with the hurts, habits, and hangups of life and perhaps struggling through some of those things, but they're looking to connect. They're looking to find, to overcome those things in their life through the help of Jesus and other people. And so that's Friday nights and 6:15 at the gym. This is growing once again. People are starting to show up again. This ministry took quite a hit during COVID, obviously, but in the last few years, it's just starting to steadily grow back, and more people are coming and getting help. And so we just love to see that. As far as the church as a whole, and Pastor Brian has been preaching through the book of Ephesians, and so he'll be wrapping that up in the next couple weeks, and then we're going to be in Ecclesiastes this summer, and so that's going to be a great one to look forward to. Again, that one kind of sets us up for the fall focus on identity and just thinking about the things of this world that we pursue, that we go after. They are meaningless. They're not going to give us the satisfaction we need. We know that the only thing that can truly do that is God, who created us in his image, and he's given us meaning and purpose. We have to follow what he has for our lives. If you're looking to serve at Edgewood, perhaps you're newer here, or you've just never really taken that step to get involved, we'd love for you to find a way to serve. You can talk to any of our pastors. We do have a couple ministries in particular that are looking for more servants. Our preschool ministry is always looking for servants. There's more and more kids that show up to that each and every week. And then I believe our tech ministry as well. And if you're interested in either one of those in particular, again, you can go to our website, and there's a way to get some more information about those and perhaps sign up. And then lastly, we're looking forward to our baptism and next steps weekend. That'll be May 18th and 19th. So coming up next month. And we always have a growing list of people who are looking to get baptized. We have people come to faith here all the time and then take that next step in baptism. And so that's coming up here soon. We already have several people signed up. So if this is something you're interested in, you can sign up online. You can go to the website. Next steps. If this is where you believe perhaps God is bringing you to become a member here at Edgewood, or if you just want to learn more about Edgewood and our heartbeat and our history here, you can sign up to go to that as well. There'll be a luncheon on Sunday, the night before. There'll be dinner after the service. And this is led by Brian and his wife, Beth. And we're just looking to find ways to get you connected here. We don't want anyone to ever feel like they can't get connected. We want to shepherd you well and walk with you through everything that you have going on in your life. But in some cases, you just got to take that first step. Go to that website, ask a pastor, ask the areas where people are needed to serve, and we just love you to be a part of things here. And so thanks so much for tuning in today. Just wanted to give an update on everything happening at Edgewood, but also ways to get involved. There's no shortage of ways to get involved, as you can see as we've been going over here. So we just want to make sure you have all that information. And if you are watching this online, if you're listening, please feel free to share this with other people. If you know a friend that's looking for a church and they're looking to connect, share with them about Edgewood and everything we have going on here. And we want to encourage them in that way. You can leave us a rating and review. You can share this video with other people, continue to get the word out. But we want more people to be able to have access to this podcast. And usually we do more interviews or sermon discussion, those types of things. But it's good to do this type of thing. Hopefully maybe do this every few months and just give updates of what God is doing here. But let me pray, and then we'll close out this time of this podcast. Lord, thanks so much for this time together. Thank you for your work that you're doing here at Edgewood. Lord, more and more people come all the time, and we just love to see that. But God, it's not just a number. Lord, these are people who you love, you made in your image, who you died for, and Lord, we want to come to saving knowledge of faith in you. We want to see them grow in their faith. We want to see them get connected. We want to see them serve. We want to see them lead others. We want to see them take these steps in their walk to become mature believers in you. Lord, so I pray that you continue to use this church. you'd use our people. And Lord, if there is anyone listening today or watching, if they're not connected, if they're looking for a place to connect, Lord, I pray that they consider the ministry of Edgewood, and hopefully we can find ways to get them involved, Lord. But thank you for your work here. Thank you for your goodness, and thank you for watching over us, taking care of us. We ask all these things in your name. Amen. All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you out here next time.